Now on CoastTV News.
A new push to protect trees as development grows in Sussex County. How much land could have to stay green? A legal battle over an offshore wind substation is not over yet. The move that could decide if plans move forward. And beach canopy regulations. Ocean City expanding space for tents on the sand, but how the town plans to enforce those rules may surprise you.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
New rules to protect forests in Sussex County. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Christina DiVerbertis. That is our top story. Here's a look from above at Sussex County's landscape. The Sussex County Council met today to discuss creating an ordinance to protect forests, especially with all of the residential developments that are happening rapidly in our area. Today, CoastTV News reporter Nicole Richter shows us what these new rules could mean from our Coast Copter.
Preserving forest was one of the priorities of the Sussex County Land Use Reform Working Group. Taking a look from our Coast Copter, this is a forest in Frankfurt that's up for sale, and right next to it was a forest that was already stripped down. Forests like these are the focus of the new ordinance.
Under the proposal, 30% of the forests must be preserved in designated growth areas and 50% in rural areas. It would also require all developments to evaluate the condition of those forests. That means a professional forester would assess the land, identifying what's there, its ecological value, and what should be preserved. If trees, shrubs, and plant life are deemed significant, developers would be required to prioritize protecting them.
I think there should be, if you take a tree down, you plant one.
County Council discussed proposed changes to county code regarding forests on Tuesday. We spoke with one person who says the proposed rules are a step in the right direction.
It's necessary. I'm hoping they'll plant more trees. My wife and I, we live in a tree city on the eastern shore, so we're hoping it continues.
Presenters told County Council the ordinance wouldn't stop development or prevent tree removal entirely, but it would require developers to preserve trees when possible or face consequences if they don't.
They recommend it be enacted 6 months after approval. County leaders said the ordinance will be formally introduced next week. In the Coast Copter, Nicole Richter, Coast TV News.
New tonight, Sussex County Council is moving forward with an appeal in a legal fight over a proposed offshore wind substation. It would go near the former Indian River power plant. A judge previously ruled in favor of the state, requiring counties to approve certain projects like this one. Now, if the appeal fails, the developer, U.S. Wind, could move ahead, but the larger wind farm in general, that still needs federal approval. And today, Sussex County Council unanimously shooting down a development that called for more than 200 homes. Plans for the now denied Marlin Cove development. It would go just off of New Road and Route 54 in Selbyville. Coast TV reporter Brandon Ferguson shows us why the county said no.
106 single-family homes and 104 duplexes denied for this land. The problem for Sussex County Council, just a few feet away from the land on New Road, which Council President Douglas Hudson says is not wide enough and not in good enough condition to handle the increase in traffic that Marlin Cove would have caused.
There's just not infrastructure to support it.
The applicant, Marlin Cove LLC, denied to comment on the future of this land after Tuesday's decision. Previously, in application documents, the company said the neighborhood would fit into the area and bring more housing options to Selbyville. Victor Lanciati is happy Marlin Cove was denied, saying the roads can't take another development.
If they really are serious about all this development, they need to look into account infrastructure.
According to state documents, if Marlin Cove was approved, 40 of the 48 total acres of forest on this property would have been destroyed.
For now, development will not move forward as infrastructure questions take center stage. In Selbyville, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
Now, in February, less than 3 miles from the proposed Marlin Cove development, Sussex County Council approved a zoning change for the Crosswinds Landing project. That would go near the intersection of Dickerson Road and Route 54. The plan covers about 183 acres and calls for 352 homes, including single-family and multi-family units, plus at least 18 acres of open space. Construction there could take up to 4 years. Well, this is what we were dealing with just a few days ago, scraping frost off of our windshields. Just 5 days ago exactly, but today, you might have noticed, much warmer temperatures, bringing a noticeable shift in the weather. We saw people out on the beach enjoying themselves today, and we spoke with one vacationer who says it is nice, but it's causing some wardrobe problems.
Not knowing how to pack your clothes, right? And it's just like, okay, I know that today is a short and t-shirt kind of day.
Yeah, I can understand. Now, if you're looking to enjoy the warm weather at Cape Henlopen State Park, you should be aware there are some closures. You can find more on that over on our website, CoastTV.com. And this does bring us to our Coast TV poll tonight. We're asking, how are you handling this early season heat? Let's see here, 59% are just getting outside. Doesn't matter what they're doing, they're just getting outside. 3% in the pool. 25% are staying inside, maybe because of allergies. A few going to the beach or doing some short outings. And you can still vote. Let us know how you are planning to spend this warm weather. Go to CoastTV.com or use our mobile app. And now we'll take a live look outside into Lewis and turn it over to our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams.
Well, we were pretty close to actually tying a record high for today, and quite frankly, tomorrow we're going to be looking forward to possibly breaking a record high. Right now, we're expected for it to stay in the 60s, upper 60s for the rest of the night going into the early morning hours with some scattered cloud cover in Milford. But we're at 72 degrees in Milton right now, 73 in Millsboro, as well as Laurel at 72 degrees in Seaford and in Harrington, and 73 right now in Milford, 75 in Lewis. Now, we're still warmer than we were just yesterday, but listen, we're about 5 degrees warmer. It tells you yesterday was pretty warm in and of itself. Now, as far as the threat is concerned, we're looking for going into the next 24-hour period, possibly seeing not a chance of severe weather, but we could see a spot shower flare up. Why? Because it's going to be so hot, so humid, like a summer day. We have to watch out for a summer-like pop-up shower, particularly in the afternoon hours. So we have to be mindful of that. Other than that, we're going to be concentrating on this heat and just a tinge of humidity as well, Christina.
Thank you, Paul. Well, as more boaters get ready to head back onto the water, Ocean City first responders doing the same thing. This morning, firefighters training alongside the U.S. Coast Guard on vessel towing operations in the bay. The goal was to practice how crews would reach a distressed boat, secure it, and then move it to safety.
Being able to tow a broken down vessel or a distressed vessel is important because the currents move very fast, the wind, there's a lot of obstructions, like the inlet has the rocks, the bridge, other boats.
And firefighters say working with the Coast Guard helps crews stay sharp before that busy summer season starts ramping up. Now, for the past few years, town leaders in Ocean City have been debating different rules and regulations for beach canopies. Now, today, not only did the town change those canopy rules, but there's going to be people ready to enforce the new rules. Coast TV reporter Drew Bellinger shows us what the changes are, and he has reactions from beachgoers.
Tents on the beach remains a point of controversy for the town and people of Ocean City. Today, the town met to discuss the current rules surrounding beach tents and canopy placement and size.
Families here, they're kids, they're little kids, they're all kids.
Charles Desitels frequently visits the Ocean City beaches and says keeping kids out of the sun is important.
They take up spots, they take up an area. It's going to happen with a tent or without a tent. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Put the canopy up, enjoy yourself. If it's too crowded, move on to the next beach or something.
With that in mind, the town voted to change canopy regulations, actually giving them more room. You will now be allowed to have a 15-foot by 15-foot space. This is an increase from the previous 10-foot by 10-foot rules, but the 3-foot separation between canopies will remain. In order to enforce these rules, the town says 6 people will be patrolling the Ocean City beach area, taking the burden off of lifeguards who the town says were getting drawn into disputes over these canopies.
I have 3 kids, and so I want the lifeguard to be able to see everything they need to.
Raquel Price thinks the massive tents are completely unnecessary.
It's definitely necessary for us to have a tent of something, but I can definitely see where there would be some conversation or rules needed around how big it is or where it goes.
Ocean City redrawing the lines in the sand. For Coast TV News, I'm Drew Bellinger.
Now, Town Manager Terry McGeehan says that beach enforcement crews, that's going to be a trial for this summer, and then they will be reassessed in the fall. A new bill in Annapolis could change how watermen target invasive blue catfish in the Chesapeake Bay. Senate Bill 610 would create a gill net program, allowing licensed watermen to use specialized nets to target those blue catfish. The nets are designed to catch specific sizes, making harvests more efficient and marketable. Some conservation groups are urging caution, though, saying the nets can sometimes catch other fish if they're not carefully managed. For watermen like Jeff Harrison, it's about using the right tool for the job.
If it's too big, they swim through it. So the reason this net's important is because it catches the size fish that most people like to fillet to eat, and the processors really want.
And that legislation has now passed both the House and the Senate in Maryland. It's awaiting Governor Wes Moore's signature. There's a push to turn an unused church in Crisfield into a transitional housing site. Here's a look at the church. It's on Old Union Asbury Church, and it hasn't held services actually since 2013. The owner wants to make it a place to help women and children in need of stable housing. It would provide support services and give them a temporary place to stay. But some neighbors are not so excited about the idea. They say there's a need for this kind of support in Crisfield, but say it shouldn't be in a neighborhood. Other folks we spoke to are more hopeful.
I understand that, and I have seen some of the comments where folks are concerned about, crime or drug dealing or those sorts of things going on there. But those types of housing situations are usually very closely monitored, and that kind of stuff just doesn't happen there. These people want to be reintegrated. They want to be part of a functional society.
And there was also a community forum about the idea at the Crisfield Library tonight. And we still have more news to tell you about. Coming up, gas prices could be impacting electric vehicle sales, why some think it's cheaper to charge. Plus, graffiti found around Berlin, where police say it happened and what they need from you. But first, Paul Williams in our Coast TV First Alert Weather Center with a look at your full forecast right after this.
Well, let's put it this way. If you enjoyed today's warmth, then you're going to absolutely adore Wednesday. Because Wednesday, we're coming out with the sweat box forecast. Yeah, you're going to need the air conditioning unit, pump it in the car, and even in the house, perhaps, because it's going to be just that warm. Right now, it's not short-stopping at 72 degrees currently for us in Rehoboth. Now, we're going to drop back to about 66 as early as 2 o'clock in the morning. A few clouds, but then that'll clear out quickly, too, because it's just going to be like that. Now, we're not worried about any more in the way of real significant winds on the Atlantic side of things. And even on the other side, we have still some small craft advisories that have just been reissued, but we have this small amount of rain that pushed to the north of us. It's still a bit bone dry for us, to be quite honest. Now, overall, that amount of heat, which is going to be record setting, yeah, that's where we're at. See, today we fell just shy of that number. The record was set in 1977. Tomorrow's 86, we're already looking at several locations that will surpass that. This record of 2024 looks like a sure goner, and then we could possibly tie or maybe surpass that record for us on Thursday, depending on how things shake out. 87 degrees for today, officially, with the Georgetown site. So, yeah, we actually got close. I believe we just tied it. That was a last-minute reading. We also had 87 in Prime Hook, actually, 86 in Milford, as well as Slaughter Beach and Ellendale, just to name a few. Laurel and Lewis came in at 84 degrees today. Now, rainfall has also been a bit on the dry side, too. I mean, we're about a quarter of an inch shy of where we should be for this time of the year. Now, when you take a look at this from a yearly standpoint, we're just about 3/4 of an inch shy. Now, that's not drastic, but it is something to take note of, especially with the unusually warm weather and dry conditions we've been dealing with. You see, because the most southern portions of the state, well, of the county, pardon me, No, that is the southern part of the county and the state. That's one and the same. My apologies. I'm only human here, okay? But anyway, we're looking at abnormally dry conditions, and we're looking at moderate drought from Salisbury down towards Chrisfield, and we have severe drought down towards Chincoteague. One thing that has been crazy in the way has been the tree pollen. That has gone bonkers. That's my meteorological word for it, okay? We've gone from medium to high to extreme. So as soon as you get your car, washed off, it's going to probably be covered with pollen the very next day. That's just how extreme it is. 69 right now in Long Neck as well as Georgetown, 68 in Gumboro, but we're only going to drop to 64 for the overnight period. So we're not going to change much from where we are. We're going to go into near 90 by 3 o'clock tomorrow, 90 degrees in Lewis. We're going 90 in Georgetown, Milton, as well as Ellendale in those areas. Thursday morning, we start off at 67 in the morning time, and then we'll climb right back into the upper 80s. Might not quite crack 90, but it'll be close enough that you probably won't tell much of a difference. And then we're looking for that last hurrah of rain, which we actually in desperate need of because we're behind schedule, okay? But that'll clear out of the way by early Monday. So let's kind of summarize some things for tonight. Mostly clear, mild, and 64. Tomorrow, record-breaking heat. Period, full stop. UV index is on the high side as well. You need to wear the sunscreen. And then 88 for Thursday, staying sunny and staying, I'm going to use that word in April, hot. No kidding. Here's a look at your extended forecast. Now, believe it or not.
Oh, it's all right, Paul. Thank you for that. Now, the Berlin Police Department is investigating multiple graffiti incidents reported across town, including a new location on Franklin Avenue. Officers say 2 people were caught on camera around 10:41 last night spray painting the Evergreen Lodge on North Main Street before running south on Main and east on Pitts. Police say similar paint was used elsewhere, and they're asking anyone with information to please come forward. Looking regionally, another graffiti incident. Some parents kept their children home today after graffiti naming the Sandy Hook school shooter was found outside an elementary school in Bethsaida, Maryland. This was on Saturday. Now, reporter Jackie Benson has the latest on the search for the suspects and what is being done to try and reassure families and staff at that school.
It is always a disturbing sight to see police outside of a school, even if they are there for protection and reassurance.
There has been an all-hands-on-deck approach to what is an extremely serious situation.
Montgomery County Council member Andrew Friedson represents the neighborhood around Bradley Hills Elementary School and is also running for county executive. He says parents' fears after the discovery of graffiti with the name of the Sandy Hook school shooter were very much evident in a quickly organized virtual meeting.
We had about 350 or more parents joining us, which really speaks to the alarm, the level of concern, the amount of palpable fear that there is.
The graffiti vandalism was discovered Saturday, about a week after another disturbing incident at the school. A shed on the property was burned in what is being investigated as a case of arson. No word on whether there's a connection.
These are being investigated by Montgomery County Fire Rescue through their fire marshal's office.
Montgomery County Police 2nd District Commander Amy Dahm urges everyone in the community to contact police with information, no matter how insignificant. She is also asking people to be extremely careful not to post or share rumors and unverified information.
One of the things that we're seeing really driving up that level of fear in this particular community, in this particular case, is the spread and the very fast spread of misinformation.
In addition to an increased police presence, the school system says additional security cameras have been ordered and installation will be expedited. A tree that was blocking an existing camera has been removed. Lighting will be added to support the cameras, and there will be increased monitoring by the system's electronic detection service. A chain and lock has been ordered to secure the playground.
Take note, the DSN Outdoors Expo is happening Friday and Saturday. It's at the Delaware State Fairgrounds in Harrington. It's a free, family-friendly event, your one-stop shop for everything outdoor. And coming up on the Delmarva Sports Network tonight, Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts has a make-or-break season on the horizon. DSN listened to Phillies GM to see how much support the quarterback has in the building. But first, inside the Cannonball House, one of Lewis's most unique historic landmarks, still shows signs of war nearly 2 centuries later. That story up next.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
United Airlines has announced a change in policy for its passengers. Headphones or earbuds during a flight, it's no longer just considered proper etiquette, it's now a requirement. Any United Airlines passengers who blast audio from their devices and refuse to wear headphones could get banned permanently. The airline lists the new rule as a safety issue for everyone on board. And rising gas prices are fueling people's interest in electric vehicles, or at least into seriously considering buying one. As reporter Robert Golston reports, Cars.com reports a more than 40% uptick in web search traffic.
Grayson Dorvell cringes at the pump. Tell us the price and what you think about it.
47, extremely high.
When he fills up for his 1 hour and 15-minute commute every day from Foxborough to Woburn. Fed up?
A little bit fed up.
Amanda White has been electric only for 3 years. How do you feel when you see these gas prices?
Great. Yeah, I mean, definitely been a savings.
Boston-based Car Guru says it has seen a 31% increase in views for new electric vehicles and a more than 40% bump in used EVs.
I've seen a huge uptick.
Andrew Diaz is the general manager of Greenwave in Salem, one of the state's first all-used electric vehicle dealerships. He says even without the federal incentives previously offered, the gas prices are a big enough incentive to buy in.
When it starts hitting your wallet in a everyday sense, you start to think about it. And obviously there's still the environmental factors as well. And I think those combining with each other are pushing people to take the leap and see what an EV can do for them.
But EVs are not a one-stop shopping experience.
You really have to plan for an electric car.
Esther Park's company Stressless Car helps connect people with the right vehicle.
If you're paying $20,000 less for a gas car, well, $20,000 buys you an awful lot of gas. So you have to look at the whole scenario.
Both types of fuel seem to have some drivers.
For longer trips, it's just a little bit of planning.
At a fork in the road.
Because they're not ready yet.
You're not sold yet?
No. I do hybrid first.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
In the NFL, the Eagles are answering the same old questions. What's the status of quarterback Jalen Hurts? Because Philly's QB1 has come under fire as of late. ESPN reported earlier this month that the man in charge of this offense isn't beloved in his own locker room. And the offense kind of sputtered last year, so would that make some sense? A story written by both Jeremy Fowler and Tim McManus over at the Worldwide Leader, critical of Hurts' role in the offensive struggles last season, questioning his leadership style and his willingness to make changes that could, well, change the outlook of this team's offense moving forward. Remember, it was a little bit of an up and down offensively last year. They had a new offensive coordinator in the building, Kevin Patullo. They'll have another new OC this year in Sean Mannion. But how about the leader of the whole organization, GM Howie Roseman? What did he say about this?
We have some faults. One of them is not being direct and honest with our players and the conversations with our players. So for us, if we have any issue with any of our players, we talk to them directly. You know, we're not hiding behind anything. You know, we will talk to our players directly, and you know, I think that it's unfair. It's unfair to have these articles written, but I understand it's also what sells at this point. So, yeah, I think it's unfortunate.
Good to see that Roseman kind of had Hurts' back, and in that ESPN article, Hurts is apparently as open as he's ever been to making changes, which will have to come in the fall. That'll do it for sports. Have a good night, Delmarva.
Right now, as we take a look, we're picking up on some scattered showers making its way coming out of the west right now. Just wanted to go ahead and take a little detailed look at that, see if it would become a little bit of a problem for us. But it's looking more and more like it's going to stay well to our north and out of the way. As a just in case or look, I don't think it's going to pose us a problem, but we do have concerns for small craft advisor and breezy conditions on the other side of the peninsula. Annette Urban of Lewis, congratulations. You're our umbrella giveaway winner. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line, sponsored by Brock Stepman, Dallas, and Federico. And here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast.
Thank you again so much, Paul, and thanks to you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. You can always find more news, more weather. Just download that Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is up next, and we'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.